My daughter, with some trepidation. For one reason, Miss Abby.
Do you mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
Stomach?
His dyspepsia. It bothers him so, poor dear.
Oh no, Miss Abby, I'll be frank with you. I'm speaking of your nephew's unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? Oh no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, I know. But a dramatic critic is constantly exposed to the theater. And I don't doubt but what some of them do develop an interest in it.
Well, not Mortimer. You need have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Yes, he writes terrible things about him. About it. You can't blame him, poor boy. He used to write about real estate, which he really knew something about, until they made him take that terrible night position.
My.
But, as he says, the theater won't last much longer. And in the meantime, it's a living. Yes, I think we could give the theater another year or two, perhaps. Well, now, who do you suppose that is? No, thank you, Teddy. I'll go. Oh, Mr. Brophy!
Hello, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Klein?
Very well, Miss Brewster.
And what news have you brought me?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Yes, nothing to report. Splendid. Thank you, gentlemen. At ease.
You all know Dr. Harper.
Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper.
Hello.
We come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh.
You've done so much for her already.
Oh, stop that nonsense. We made this morning. Sister Martha was taking some over to poor Mr. Beninsky right now. Sit down and be comfortable, all of you.
She shouldn't go to all that trouble. You should stop her and her sister from doing something nice. And for nothing. Why, they don't even carry a U-boat.
If I know what pure kindness and absolute generosity are, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters. Colonel, you promised not to do that.
But I have to call a cabinet meeting to get the release of those supplies.
And don't do that again.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised Cain with me. But they're a little afraid of him anyway. Oh, this is fine. This will make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy just crazy about toy soldiers. That's Joe Miles. I've retired him. What's this? The organ.
Oh, Teddy, dear, put it down.
But the organ goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
No, I've given my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
But, Teddy.
Who cares what kid gets it? Bob Evans? Izzy Cohen? Oh, man, we best be going. Yes, and thank you very much.
Not at all.
Very lovely. Dismissed.
Be careful on the stairs with the toys.
Now let that be a lesson to you, young man.
I'd better be going.
Before you go.
Charge! Charge the blockhouse!
The blockhouse?
The stairs are always sad ones. Doesn't right. Well, he's done this much too often. We must speak to him.
Yes. Oh, please don't. After young Mendy's idea of the night that was taking me to choir practice, it's been wonderful going to theater almost every night of my life.
It's a comfort for us too, dear, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, at least he's sitting next to a minister's daughter. Oh my goodness, Elaine, what must you think of us not having tea cleared away by this time? Oh, Abby, don't bother with anything in the kitchen until Mortimer comes, and then I'll help you. Easy.
Dinner.
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait till after the show.
But won't that make it pretty late?
Not with the little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
You ought to be more fair to those plays.
Are these plays fair to me?
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
Darling, that musical isn't opening tonight.
No?
You'll have to learn the rules. With the musical, there's always 4 changes of title and 3 postponements. They liked it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
I was hoping it'd be a musical.
You have such a light mind. Never been able to rationalize it.
What?
I'm falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the legalities.
I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where can we be married in a hurry, like, say, tonight?
I'm afraid Father will insist on officiating.
Oh, your father can make even a marriage ceremony sound pedestrian.
You're not by any chance writing a review of this.
Oh, forgive me, darling. It's an occupational disease. I may give that play tonight a good review.
Now, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
Be sure to tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think I'd better tell him to wait up tonight.
I'll telephone Winchell to publish the banns.
Nevertheless.
Oh, all right.
About what, dear?
There's a body in the window seat.
Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Well, you can't just leave him there. What are we gonna do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited. And for pity's sake, stop worrying about it. We told you to forget about the whole thing.
Forget? My dear Aunt Martha, can I make you realize that something has to be done?
Oh, well, we don't intend to leave him there.
But then what are you gonna do?
Well, Teddy's down in the cellar now, digging a lot.
So you're gonna bury him in the cellar?
Oh, yes, dear, that's what we did with all the others.
No, absolutely not. I won't let you do others!
The other gentlemen.
When you say others, do you mean like more than one others?
Oh, yes. Now, let me see. This is 11, isn't it? No, dear, this makes 12. Oh, I think you're wrong, Abby. This is only 11. No, dear, because when Mr. Hoskins first came, it occurred to me that he would make just an even dozen. Oh, but you really shouldn't count the first one. Oh, I was counting the first one, and that makes 12.
Hello, Al. Look, oh, it's good to hear your voice.
Well, they're all down in the cellar. Now listen, you can't propose me one minute and throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house, Elaine. Now, will you get out of here?
No, I won't get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Elaine! Hello, Al. Yeah, look, I know it's important. Can't I hold on a minute? Just, you wait, all right? Hold on. Now, look, Elaine, you've got to go home. I'm just very busy.
Now don't try to be masterful.
I'm not trying to be mad. Look, when we're married and I have problems to fix, I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
When we're married and if we're married, I hope I find
Elaine! Hello? 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 Hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone. How do you do? Won't you come in?
Since here you got a room to rent.
Yes, won't you step in?
Are you the lady of the house?
Yes, I'm Miss Brewster. And this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
My name's Gibbs.
Won't you sit down? I'm sorry, we're just setting the table for dinner.
Hello, Al, city desk. Al, city desk! What? Oh, sorry, wrong number.
May I see the room?
Oh, why don't you just sit down first and let's get acquainted?
That won't do much good if I'm out like...
Hey, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I'm glad to escape back into it.
Oh, it's a fine hideout, Tony.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf awaiting the return of a prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Look, Tony, drinks.
I As though we were expected, a good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Why, Aunt Abby and Martha, it's Jonathan.
You get out of here.
But I'm Jonathan, your nephew, Jonathan.
Oh, no, you're not. So don't pretend you are. You get out of here.
I am Jonathan, and this is Dr. Einstein.
And he's not Dr. Einstein either.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see her still wearing the lovely garnet ring Grandmother Brewster bought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar, tied a scar where Grandfather's acid burned you.
His voice is like Jonathan's. Have you been in an accident?
My face. Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
But I've seen that face before. Abby, do you remember when he took the little Schultz boy to the movies and I was so frightened? It was that face.
Well, take it easy, Tony. Don't worry, ladies. The last 5 years, I give Tony 3 new faces. I give him another one right away. This last face, well, I saw that picture too, just before I operate.
See, Doctor, you see what you've done? What did you find, Teddy?
The story of my life, my biography. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. Here we are, the both of us. President Roosevelt and General Goebbels at Culebra Cut. That's me, General, and that's you.
My, how I've changed.
Well, you see, this picture actually hasn't been taken yet. We haven't even started work on Culebra Cut. We're still digging locks. And now, General, we will both go to Panama and inspect the new lock.
Not to Panama, dear.
We go some other time. Panama's such a long way off.
Nonsense, it's just down in the cellar.
The cellar?
We let Teddy dig the Panama Canal in the cellar.
General Goebbels, as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and the Navy, and the man who gave you this job, I demand that you accompany me on the inspection of the new lock.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon. Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson. Now go to bed.
No, you're not Wilson, but your face is familiar. Let me see. You're not anyone I know now. Perhaps later on my hunting trip to Africa. You just look like someone I might meet in the jungle.
Teddy, your brother Jonathan, dear, had his face changed.
So that's it, a nature faker.
Perhaps you'd better go to bed, Teddy. Jonathan and his friend have to go back to their hotel.
General Goethals, inspect the canal.
All right, Mr. President.
You have a very distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't appreciate his skill. But you will. In a few weeks, you'll see me looking like a very different Jonathan.
He can't operate on you here.
When Dr. Einstein and I resume practice, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, we're turning Grandfather's laboratory upstairs into an operating room. We expect to be quite busy.
Jonathan, we will not let you turn this house into a hospital.
A hospital? Heavens, no. It'll be a beauty parlor.
Hey, Tony, down in the
Doctor,
cellar.
my aunts have invited us to live with them.
Oh, you fixed it?
You're staying here just tonight.
We'll get my room ready immediately.
Well, just tonight.
Hey, Tony, when I go down in the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama Canal.
The Panama.
Yeah, it just fits Mr. Spinozzo. It's a hole Teddy dug. 6 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Down there?
Yeah, you'd think they knew we were bringing Mr. Spinozzo along.
Rather,
I thought I saw someone prowling around the house.
you thought you saw someone prowling around the house.
Yes. Weren't you outside? Wasn't that your car?
You saw someone at the car?
Yes.
What else did you see?
Just that. That was all.
What else did you see?
Just that. That's why I came over here. I wanted to tell Miss Abby to call the police. But if that was you and that's your car, I'll be running along now.
What is the man doing in the car?
I don't know. You see, I was on my way over here.
I think you're lying.
Tony, I think she tells the truth. We let her go now, yeah?
I think she's lying. Breaking and crossing this time of night. I think she's dangerous. She should be allowed to loose.
Take your hands off me!
Absolutely no visitors. It's going to be a private funeral.
Teddy, tell these men who I am.
That's my daughter, Alice. Now, Alice, don't be such a tomboy. Don't play rough with those gentlemen.
The lights! Hurry up! The side post. The needles on your fingernails.
Oh, no. It is Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan, I remember you. I remember you as the most vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew.
Now don't you two boys start quarreling the first moment you've met.
There won't be any fight, Aunt Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out.
We haven't been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Just tonight.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
But we did invite him for tonight, and it wouldn't be nice to go back on our word.
All right. Just for tonight. Now, where are they staying?
We put them in Jonathan's old room.
You can't put them there. That's my old room. I'm staying in that room. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
Tony, you sleep down here tonight.
You bet your life you do, Doctor.
You sleep on the sofa, and I'll sleep on the window seat.
The window seat. Yes, the window seat. I'll sleep on the window seat. The window seat's good enough for me to sleep on tonight and from ever on.
Mortimer?
Tony, all this argument makes me think of Mr. Spinozzo.
Why, he used to put his poison medicines in dead people just to make sure he wouldn't kill them.
He wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And then there's Jonathan. Why, you just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And then there's Teddy. You know Teddy. Why, he thinks he's Roosevelt. No, look, darling, no Brewster should marry. I've come to the idea that possibly if I'd met my father in time, I'd have stopped him.
Now listen, darling. All of this doesn't prove you're crazy. Look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, aren't they? They're the sanest, sweetest people I've ever known.
Even they have their peculiarities.
Yes, but what wonderful peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy.
There's another one!
Oh, Mortimer, there's plenty of others. You can't tell me anything about your aunts.
Not going to. Look, you've got to run home right now. Something's very important has just come up.
Up from where? We're here alone together.
Look, it's very important. I know I'm not acting rationally, but just put it to the fact that I'm a mad Brewster.
Now, if you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you...
Yes, Jonathan, I'd hurry if I were you. The things are all packed anyway, aren't they?
Well, you'll be wanting to say your goodbyes, so I'll be running along.
What's the rush, officer? Won't you stay? My brother Jonathan's just leaving.
Oh, I'll go make some more sandwiches. I ought to know your appetite by this time, Officer O'Hara.
Don't bother. I gotta ring in.
Look, O'Hara, you can stay just for some coffee.
Oh, I forgot the coffee.
Look, you can stay just to have some coffee and wait till my brother comes down. You know, you can sit down here.
Say, ain't I seen a photograph of your brother around here someplace?
I don't think so.
He certainly reminds me of somebody.
He looks like somebody you might have seen in the movies.
I never go to them movies. Well, my mother was an actress, a stage actress. Perhaps you've heard of her. Peaches Latour.
Sounds like a name I might have seen on the program. What did she play?
Well, her big hit was Mutt and Jeff. Played it for 3 years. I was born on tour, the 3rd season.
You were?
Yep, Sioux City, Iowa. Well, I was born in the dressing room at the end of the 2nd act, and Mother made the finale.
What a trooper. I'll bet there's a story in your mother. You know, I write about the theater.
You do? Say, you're not Mortimer Brewster, the dramatic critic.
Yes,
Well,
I am.
I certainly am glad to meet you. Say, Mr. Brewster, why, we're in the same line of business.
We are?
Yeah, I'm a playwright. This being on the police force is just temporary.
How long have you been on the force?
12 years. I'm collecting material for a play.
I'll bet it's a honey.
Well, it ought to be. With all the drama I see being a cop, you got no idea what goes on in Brooklyn.
I think I have.
Say, what time you got?
10 after 1.
I gotta ring in.
Look, O'Hara, on that play of yours, I may be able to help you out.
You would? Say, it was fate my walking here tonight. Look, I'll tell you the plot.
So, Jonathan, you're leaving, yeah? Good.
Well, everything's just about ready. Oh, you're leaving, Jonathan? Goodbye, Jonathan. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Oh, doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes, Jonathan. You can't leave without taking everything with you. Look, O'Hara, you run along. My brother Jonathan is just leaving.
I ain't leaving yet, Mr. Brewster.
Why not?
Well, you just offered to help me with my play. You and me are gonna write my play together.
I can't do that, O'Hara. I'm not a creative writer.
I'll do the creating. You just put the words to it.
But, O'Hara...
No, sir, Mr. Brewster. I ain't leaving this house until I...
Find out! You'll find out whose house this is! I'm warning you, you better start! Hasn't Mortimer come back yet? No! Oh, it's a terrible thing to do, to bury a good Christian with a corner! I wrote that to her son was desecrated, and I promised to do a full Christian funeral! Oh, Abby! Where do you suppose Mortimer went? I don't know, but he must be doing something, because I heard him say to Jonathan, "You just wait, I'll settle this." Well, he can't very well settle it while he's out of this house. That's really all we want settled.
When will the playwrights ever get any imagination?
Well, didn't he see him get it?
See him? No. Why, all he would have had to do is just turn around and look at the murderer. But no, there he just sits, ready to be trussed up and gagged. The big dope. When will the playwrights ever get any imagination? Ready to be trussed up and gagged.
Hurry up, Doctor.
Well, you were right about that fella. He wasn't very bright.
Hey. Well, now, Mortimer, if you don't mind, I'll finish the story. I've been away for 20 years, Mortimer, but not once in all that time were you ever out of my mind. In fact, in Melbourne one night, I dreamed of you. When I landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction. Once more, as in the same land as you.
Yes, absolutely.
Say, Mr. Brewster, I gotta get away now, so I'll just run through the third act real quick.
You get away from me.
Say, do you know what time it is? Oh, it's after 8 o'clock in the morning.
It is? Say, Mr. Brewster, them first two acts run a little long, but I don't see anything we can leave out.
You can leave it all out.
Who the heck is this guy?
Oh, that's my brother.
The one that ran away so he came back.
Yeah, he came back.
Hello, this is Brophy. Get me Mac. Driver, let them know we found you. Tell the lieutenant to call the big man. Okay, found him. In the Brewster's home. Do you want us to bring him in? Okay, we'll hold him right here. The lieutenant's on his way over.
So I've been turned in, eh? All right, you got me. I suppose you and that stool pigeon brother of mine are gonna split the reward.
Reward?
Now I've got some turning in to do. You think my aunts are sweet, charming old ladies, don't you? with our 13 bodies buried in the cellar.
Teddy!
Be careful what you say about your aunts. They happen to be friends of ours.
I'll show you, I'll prove to you. Come down to the cellar with me.
Wait a minute.
13 bodies, I'll show you where they're buried.
Yeah.
You don't want to see what's in the cellar.
Go on down to the cellar with me.
I have to, Sarge? Why, look at that guy's face. Look at his mug. Why, he looks like Boris Karloff. Hey, back to the power, hey! What do you know?
Come in. What the heck are you men doing in here? I told you I was going to handle this.
Well, sir, we're just watching.
You put a fight? This ain't the guy that blows the bugle. This is his brother. He tried to kill Klein.
All I did was say his face looked like Boris Karloff.
Karloff, eh? Turn him over.
Say, can I come over and use that station typewriter sometime?
No! Get out of here! Take that guy in the other room and bring him to you. See what you can find out about his accomplice. The guy who helped him escape. You know, it's no wonder that Brooklyn is in the shape it's in. The police force is full of flatheads like you guys. Falling for a story like that is 13 bodies.
But there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
I'm President Roosevelt.
Who the heck is this? He's the fella that blows the bugle. Well, Colonel, you've blown your last bugle.
Dear me. Another yellow fever victim? All the bodies in the cellar are yellow fever victims.
No, Colonel. This is a spy we caught in the White House. Will you get that guy out of here?
If there's any questioning of spies, that's my department.
You keep at this.
You're forgetting, as president, I am also the head of the Secret Service.
Captain, I'm Mortimer Brewster.
Are you sure?
Look, I've come to talk to you about Teddy, my brother, the one who blew the bugle.
Mr. Brewster, we ain't got nothing.
Complete insubordination. You men will find out I'm no mollycoddle. When the President of the United States is treated like this, what is this country coming to?
There's your man, sir.
Just a minute. Mr. President, I have some very good news for you. Your term of office is over.
Is this March the 4th?
Practically.
Oh, let's see. Now I must go on my hunting trip to Africa. Well, I must get started immediately. Is this guy trying to move into the White House before I moved out?
No, Teddy. This is not anybody moving in. But who did you think it was?
Taft!
Taft? Not Taft. Look, Teddy, this is Mr. Witherspoon. He used to be your guide to Africa.
Bully! I'll bring down my equipment right away. Oh, and if the safari comes, tell them to wait. Goodbye, Aunt Abby. Goodbye, Aunt Martha. I'm on my way to Africa. Isn't it wonderful? Charge!
Good morning, aunties.
Good morning. Oh, we have visitors.
Yes, this is Lieutenant Rooney.
How do you do, Lieutenant? My, you don't look like the fuss budget the policemen say you are.
Well, the lieutenant is here. You know, Teddy blew his bugle again last night.
Oh, yes, we're going to speak to him about that.
It's a little more serious than that, Miss Brewster.
And this is Mr. Witherspoon.
How do you do, Mr. Witherspoon? You've come to meet Teddy.
He's come to take him.
Oh, no, not while we're alive.
Aunties, the police want Teddy to go to Happydale today.
We won't permit it. We'll promise to take the bugle away from him. We won't be separated from Teddy.
I'm sorry, ladies, but the paper's all signed and he's going along with the superintendent today.
Well, if he goes, we're going too. Yes, you'll have to take us with him.
Well, why not?
Well, that's sweet of them to want to, but it's impossible. You see, we can't take sane people at Happydale.
Oh, Mr. Witherspoon. If you'll let us live there with Teddy at Happydale, we'll make sure that it's left in our will, and for a very generous amount.
Well, the Lord knows we could use the money, but I'm afraid...
Now let's be reasonable about this. For instance, here I am, a busy man wasting my morning when I got serious work to do. Do you realize there's still murders to be solved in Brooklyn?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know.
Now, it's not just his bugle blowing and the neighbors all afraid of him, but things would just get worse. Sooner or later, I'd be put to the trouble of digging up your cellar.
Our cellar?
Yeah, your nephew's been telling around there are 13 bodies buried down there.
But there are 13 bodies in our cellar. Oh, is that?
Now, everything complete. Everything legal?
Oh, yes.
Thanks.
When do you think you'll be ready to start?
Mr. Witherspoon, why don't you go upstairs and tell Teddy just what he can take along?
Upstairs?
Here, I'll show you.
Mortimer, no, you stay here. We want to talk to you. Yes, Mr. Witherspoon, upstairs and turn to the left. Well, Mortimer, now that we're leaving, this house really is yours. Yes, we want you to live here now.
I don't really think so. This house is too full of memories.
But you need a home when you need later, Mary.
That's very definite.
It's nothing of the kind. We're to be married right away. I'll go pack my bags. Oh. Well, Mortimer, dear, we're really very worried about something.
I don't think you have anything to worry about, Aunt Martha. I'm sure you'll enjoy your stay at Happydale.
Oh, no! We're very happy about the whole thing. That's just it.
As with every year, we have some people that we would like to thank too. And it's a little bit hard to say this because it seems like our feeling won't get put across. There's some people that have put in a lot of time and a lot of effort who had no responsibility to do so, and we'd like to thank them. For the set, we'd like to thank Mr. Ron Hopkins and Mr. Howard Janray. For the makeup and for a lot of behind-the-scenes help and advice and encouragement, we'd like to thank Miss June Havestad. As prompter, sitting here hours through practices, making sure we get the lines right. helping us out when we didn't. Miss June Rittersgaard. Miss Helen Rittersgaard. Comedy's not over yet, no. As producer, just tying everything together, giving us a smile when things look pretty sad. Man, she really helped out a lot. Mrs. Carol Hopkins. And as director, just making sure that it all worked, showing us how to do things, taking us from a bunch of inexperienced kids, putting on a play with it. Mrs. Diane Long. Sophomores who put in a lot of time and really helped out for nothing in return. We'd like to thank, I better get this one right, Tim Kress, Ren Hodikiti, and Laura Hopkins. Thank you very much for coming tonight. There will be a reception line in the foyer if you'd like to greet each individual. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Do you understand this?
That's it. Who's that guy?
During
I gotta talk to that Obasan.
Honey? Comic? Yes.
A little game. She can understand Japanese. I know.
That's the trouble.
Sometimes you make a game with some words, and that's what makes it funny. But you only know that if you know your own language. So,
It's been defined as the lowest point of entertainment.
it is. It's bananas.
Yeah, it's
He was Italian.
You didn't know that you were hiding in
yeah, foreigner.
Yeah, foreigner.
Not fair to put those foreigners among us.
You could talk to him on the radio.
We were on the roll. He didn't answer.
The Japanese high schools have similar
Don't make it shake up and down.
Bless Marty. Bless Marty. Bless you. My heart for the mother.
We gotta try to get ahead of you.
I need it.
Good Thursday.
Good donut. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see. Debbie, can you see that? Yeah. I think it's just the name. Spice tea. Oh, spice. Lemon. I tried. Oh, this is from United States. Oh, really? Oh, really? I didn't know they sold them in the United States. Is that from the United States, Mart? Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. I was talking to this Marty. It's only English.
I didn't know they sold it in the United States. That's amazing. I learned something new. I'm getting into Japan too.
I wonder how it works then. Maybe they'll try it. Maybe the other way. Oh, I don't know. How about turning? Oh, so. Okay. Oh, sugar.
Yeah.
Sweet. Ha ha ha. Don't be zooming in there. Yep. We could cut them in half if you like. And I have some other. You didn't say there were a lot of them. That's one of their main things. I didn't know that.
To be gone?
I don't like people with cameras. Never have. Like he's eating.
We're giving him something to do. He needs to practice. He wants to buy one of those things so he can help me.
Gotta learn how to use it first.
That's what he do. You didn't do it. Be careful.
We rode our bikes up to Ibarioca. And we did it. Was it crowded? I guess it was something. I didn't think about it.
The ones by us were, I went in the morning and the parking lots were always almost. Are they in Texas? Did you see the one today?
Thanksgiving Day.
Is there another one?
Yes.
No.
There's this Thursday. Always last Thursday of November.
Wait a minute, so you're going to do Blaze then?
Maybe you could. Yeah, one time I was
But I don't remember if they don't want to see that. Yeah, that's right.
Final score, but I could tell you.
gonna be in a play.
Until McMahon came in the third quarter, it was a lightning game.
No, you're not sleepy?
Well, not really playing a Christmas program.
You're not sleepy.
But yeah.
I was sleeping halfway through the play. No, they're not sleeping. I said to Joey, you're tired. Your mom's tired too.
But you didn't drive?
No. Mrs. Shaw and I had.
When I see those red lights, automatically I put that brake on, you know.
Last Tuesday night, I called up Ed Marion and gave him a ride to open Bible study.
Oh, yeah.
Ed got in the back seat because he's in her seat. He fussed at her all the way. I mean, he said, Marilyn. You're never riding in the back seat again. But she said when they took me home, all the way from my house to her house, he told her how to drive. And he was serious.
Oh my goodness.
I think she does fine.
And she drives very cautiously.
I told him, I said, you would never have ever wanted to ride with Cindy.
No, not with Cindy.
I like this.
All right.
Somebody else felt. What is it, just a product?
Yeah, it's the Shogun, the 7th or the 9th Shogun
They advertising
from the Tokugawa period.
I wanted to try.
Built this park to go to, and it's a pond in the middle, and there's 88 different views, or something like that, different views from around the pond that you can sit.
He made that.
And there's one spot on top of a small hill where, you know the story of the 47 rowings?
Oh, yeah.
Where he discussed with them, and they were saying, what should we do?
Oh, really?
So it's a very famous park.
Oh, yeah.
We had lunch there, and we composed haiku,
Oh, did you really?
and we had...
In Japanese or?
Yes, not Japanese. This is quite interesting. Well, we did it. I got on the short end of the thing because there was 3 of us, another student who's from England, and he's about 8 lessons.
You taking me?
Yeah.
Is that the other very
I'm
line?
just sincere teacher.
Ah.
So he, you know, it's
Have you
5,
seen
7,
that
5.
play
So
at all?
he'd give the first 5, so she'd give the second 5, and she'd give the second 7, and I had to end up.
Ladies that start bumping.
My vocabulary in English words is the most. She don't use particles, so it's kind of
I
fun.
think they're doing a good deed as part of the charity.
I have a book of haiku poetry.
I had realized I'd seen it years ago.
In English and
Lisa
more.
reads a lot.
So you probably lose something, you know. But I hadn't looked to see if there are particles, but I guess no.
Not in the Japanese, or?
Yeah.
Wanted to go on. Go around the room now.
What is what to say?
I know.
Did I tell you I went?
That's what when he first got his movie camera, regular video.
I went to
really
that
shining
Diane stores.
Oh yeah, I was up there the other day again.
But next door to the station, there's a building, and there's 4 floors of that stuff.
I don't even know the
Hey, but see, that one floor covers everything I wanted to know, that's a Tohoku.
Yeah, but you know, this other, I mean, it is really neat. And I even got a couple of booklets in English. Beautiful
The other
pictures.
ones have some in English too, if you ask for them.
Yeah.
Miyaki does, Iwate does, Yakita and Yamagata doesn't have anything in English.
Just finish reading what you get in the hospital.
You have to ask for it, but we don't have it in English.
Ah, well, I didn't think of that. But this one, 4 floors of it, so if you have somebody coming that wants
I
to
read
see.
this years ago, and Melissa just read it. Just on Sunday nights at the church. And they just show with their teacher.
This is what it's on the grade.
Now they're showing.
What are you talking about?
She's the one here.
K through 12, but then they only have, now they only have about 325.
I wanted to put somebody to take.
How many graduates?
Marty's class in 1974 had 55. You like it, Chloe?
They need a new quarterback. They need a football team. They need a team. CAJ Senior.
CAJ?
I thought you were talking about Minnesota.
Well, they talked about that at one time.
What's a high school without football, though? What if they don't have enough people?
They have cross country.
They have everything but volleyball, wrestling.
Thank you very much, Shinobu. We appreciate that one out this off. Thank you very much, Tom, for playing for us this morning. I want to share two announcements with you.
They who have never heard it. So let me give you a bit of background. The Bible tells us that God chose a man named Abraham and called him out of the city of Ur, where he lived in the Middle East, and led him to live in the land of Canaan, which is called Israel today. God promised Abraham that he would become the father of a great nation. And actually, today all Jews and all Arabs can look back to Abraham as their ancestor. God promised Abraham a son through whom this promise would be fulfilled. Abraham grew anxious as he got older, and he didn't wait for God. And as a result, Ishmael was born, and the Arabs are his descendants. Then later a miracle baby, Isaac, was born when Abraham was 100 years old. He was a great joy to Abraham and Sarah. As our story opens, Isaac is a young man. We don't know exactly his age, but he was probably a teenager. So let us go back now to the time of Abraham and Isaac, to the beginning of the Jewish nation.
Abraham.
Yes, Lord.
Abraham, take your son, your only son, take him to Mount Moriah, and there offer him as a burnt offering.
Lord, did I hear you correctly? You want me to sacrifice my son, Isaac? My friends would gladly sacrifice their children, but you are God of the living, not God of the dead. Many years ago, you led me from my land, and you said you would lead me to a good land, and you have, Lord, and I thank you for it. And then you made me 4 promises. You said you would bless me and bless my family and bless my children, and you would curse them that curse me, and you would bless them that bless me. And Lord, then you made me another promise. You promised me a child. It's not that I didn't believe you, but I am getting old. I am old, getting older. And my wife Sarah, she is also old. And I couldn't understand how you were going to do this. But then one day the child was born, and I was so happy, so happy. And Lord, this child, Isaac, my only son, you want me to sacrifice him? To kill him? I can't do it. I can't do it, Lord. I can't do it. I won't. I won't do it. I don't understand. I don't understand. God said that Ishmael would not be my son, but that Isaac would be the son of promise. And through him, all the children would come. And we would become a great family. But how? How can we become a great family if Isaac is dead? He must be alive.
Thy strength indeed is small, child of weakness, watch and pray. Find in thee thy own soul. Ye will fade all. Sin and let the grace of sin ye wash you burden so. Lord, now
this morning, we have seen the life of a man who was asked by God to do a very difficult thing. To take his son and kill him.
Now, as we saw and heard, Abraham didn't know why, but he obeyed. And because he obeyed, the angel of the Lord came to him a second time and blessed him and gave him some wonderful promises. Now, I doubt if anyone here this morning will ever be asked by God to kill their son or their daughter. Knowing I have a son or daughter, if this were ever approached to me by God, even though I'm a missionary, at the present time, I probably couldn't do it. God says He gives grace when the time comes. But I'm glad that I'll never be asked to do it, because I don't know if I would have the same faith as Abraham had. But when we think of faith, sometimes we think so much of Abraham, we forget that Isaac was in on this too. He was a young boy, as Barbara mentioned. The Bible doesn't tell us. He's probably a young teenager, maybe 14, 15 years old. We have a few boys here who are about that age, 3 children, 14, 15 years old. Can you imagine what faith Isaac must have had, this young fellow? He trusted in God. This young child trusted in God. Loved God enough to, he didn't know why, just like Abraham didn't know why, but he had the faith to believe his father, whom he saw, and the faith in the God whom he did not see, that everything would work out for the best. A faith like that is what all of us want. But you know, if that faith hadn't been,
Fried rice. Someone who has eaten fried rice everywhere he's been. It's been a long time now. What's that? Good morning. One of their daughters, that's a new building. Oh, okay. Morning, sir. Oh, yeah. You did a very nice job.
January, wasn't it? And they're in language school, planning on
Oh, Rebecca. Film behind you. Film 111. Okay. Preston, film 111. Tell her that. You always say that in the news. Yeah, because it's nice. You ready for some
I
basketball?
got, because I got.
Yeah, sure, let's go. Everybody got
Don't let Kim see it. I remember talking about that a couple months ago. I won't what? I'll show
Give me one. You want one too? Yeah. Regular? Yes, it doesn't matter. What would you like to do? Cream and a diet sugar. It's kind of boring.
Together to pray. And but just before we do, there are also some numbers on this chart up here, and that indicates the way you go through the line up here. Don't forget to take your plate with you. And the nursery is probably not taking care of yet.
No, the mother's not.
Okay, the mothers will take care of the nursery. And then the long row of the young people will take all the food.
We'll moderate.
The table down there will go third, and then the middle table, and then here, and then there. Okay. Let's bow together to pray. We're happy that CAJ Sensei and his wife could be with us. And since we're in Japan, God understands Japanese just as well as he understands English. So Sensei, we'd like you to bless our food in the Japanese language. Okay? Now you got an even dozen.
What's your name?
I need one and one
November 30th. Saturday, I better warm up.
What's your name? What's your name? Midori? Midori-chan? Hi. How old are you? 9 months. 9 months? Oh! もうじき10ヶ月になります。こんにちは。こんにちは。Do you understand Japanese? 私ですか？はい。わかります。はい、エレさん。エレさん。はい。Smile.
Let's take a picture.
Hi, Dora.
Wait.
What's your name?
Rebecca. Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Yeah. Rebecca.
Rebecca?
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm gonna take
Jonathan. Hi. Harrison.
She said that.
Hi, Joshua. How old are you? Oh, okay.
We do not use them because you know we can't use them.
Where is Christina?
Did you see David holding the baby? You look like a natural. You look like a natural, Kevin. Would you give me some of that sandwich? The creamy one. He's one of the creamy ones.
Abraham departed and went home.
Thank you. Yeah. You have to be the whole report now. Thank you. You have to be the whole report now. I can't quite do as well as he, but I'm
Sure, excuse me.
You figured brains didn't know how to wear
This is all greasy. Just use your hands. Hello. In return, he gave me the one page. I think I'm going to enjoy this man. This is my great fun.
You're learning.
Yeah.
そうですね。ここに。
Don't we have another tray like that?
Somewhere.
I said I had to.